video going on here today. So if it's morning for you, great. If it's noon, if you're watching this on live, that's cool too. Today, the verse is Malachi 3:6. And I bring this up because Amazon, I'm trying to buy something. I think my wife went to the dentist or whatever. They're like, you need to get one of those water picks. I don't know if they like have a deal with those guys or whatever, but they're always like trying to like push and promote these water picks. And so anyway, I go to buy one for her, and my Amazon account goes, hey, you're no longer a Prime member. And I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? Dude, I've spent thousands of dollars on Amazon. Okay, like just, I mean, that's probably my main mechanism for buying stuff. I buy whatever I want on Amazon. So anyway, I'm like, why is my account jacked up? Well, so October 1st, if you didn't, because I didn't get an announcement, they didn't tell me, I didn't see an email, nothing. So good job there, Amazon, and your business strategy is not very smart when it comes to this, because they were like, you know what we're gonna do? Everybody that's sharing an account, because back, I want to say like 18 years ago, my parents shared their Amazon account Prime membership with me, so I got the benefits of not having to pay for Prime. I couldn't watch it in the video, but I got the shipping. Well, if you just woke up and realized you don't have Amazon anymore, it's because you are one of those fortunate and now unfortunate folks that kind of got thrown to the wind. And what Amazon did is they basically said, hey, you're really getting the benefit of free shipping and we don't like that. We want you to pay money. So we're going to go ahead and throw you out. And so they offer you a 30-day free trial. Well, everybody gets a 30-day free trial, so it's not like it's a big yay, hooray kind of deal. But point is that I've had this for 15 years, maybe longer. And I'm just like, oh, this is kind of crazy. Like, well, what kind of a stupid change is this? So anyway, long story short, my wife has Amazon Prime, so I had to go into the account and hers and link it to mine and add me as a family member and all stuff and whatever. And then you have to make sure you share billing methods and home addresses, and that's a kicker, is they want them tied to the same physical address. But all that to say, that's kind of it's a slight inconvenience, but it is a change. If my wife didn't have Amazon Prime, then I'd be like, oh, great. Now I got to start shelling out like what, $15 a month or something. And so you'd have to consider that, because how much do you buy on Amazon, yada, yada, yada. But the point of all this is that this brings me back to what I like to say, life. Life changes. You can deny all you want. You can put your head in the sand, as they say with they just sit there and just pretend that nothing is going on. But in the end of life, in the end of the day, things change. And whether you realize it or not, you know, if you look at yourself in the mirror, you look different than you did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 for sure. And you start to notice change that's subtle. Those are over years, but sometimes change happens immediately. And I gotta be honest, I don't think any of us like change. You know, the only thing that people say the only thing that's consistent is change. And from work, your benefits to, you know, they're adding more homes out in your area. And if you live remote, all of a sudden there's more like people and traffic gets worse and all these things. So life has changed and I don't like it. Be honest with you. I kind of hate change. If I had my way, I would do everything the same all the time and leave it that way. But I think that's part of, you know, going back to faith. God doesn't change. And that's what the verse Malachi 3:6 says. He says, I, the Lord, do not change. And if you want to go to King James Version, change not. But the point is that that's a very bold blanket statement that God doesn't change. Okay, so even though my Amazon got whacked out and now I had to circle around and do something after years and thousands of dollars of spending money in Amazon, and I did nothing wrong, they just never notified me. They just decided to make a change and it affected me in a small way. But some people that may affect them greatly. And it seems so simple, but it's irritating because you're like, come on, like what is this about? And so it just made me think, it's so cool that our God doesn't change. And so, hey guys, I see you on the chat. So God doesn't change anything. When he says sin is sin, when he says righteousness is righteousness, when he says his son is enough, changes. Isn't that nice? Imagine and said, you know what? I think I need them to add a little bit more because they're just not trying hard enough. That would be really tragic for people who had already passed on or whatever. But, you know, God says, I don't change. That's not what I do. And so it's important for us to just recognize that in our life, while there are bigger changes that will happen, we don't have to worry about God changing. He doesn't change. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And that should give you peace to know that whatever is going on in life, there is change, guys. We just have to embrace it. I don't like the fact that I have gray hairs on my chin, and I'll probably dye them, because that way I have, look younger. But at the end of the day, I'm still growing older, and I'm still changing. And the good thing is that I'm changing more and more into the person, hopefully, that God wants me to be before I get to the end. And that's what this life is about, is a consistent change from the fleshly, carnal who you were when you were born and growing up into a version of you that should look a lot like who Jesus wants us to be. And that's our goal for our lives, is to change, to become like Jesus. But know that our God, even if we could say Jesus, because of course they're tied together, and however that works, but our God doesn't change. And that is so peaceful, because it's like every 4 years we change presidents. Every 2 years here and there, congresswomen change in and out. Judges, when they die, we get new judges. Governments can come and go over hundreds of years. We've seen that many times in history, not in our lives, of course. But the point is that we don't have to worry, because again, God doesn't change. Tell us that. So embrace that. Know that that is like the coolest piece of many things that we get from God. But that one is like amazing, to know that God, you don't change. You stay the same all the time. And your word is true. So we don't have to fear. We don't have to worry about him going, I'm just kidding. We're like protected by an eagle, is what the Psalms say. So guys, know that you're safe if you believe in Jesus. If you're not, then you're definitely not safe. But you're salvation, and it doesn't change at all. God says this is the one way to heaven, but at the end of the day, your choice. And so know that God cares about you. He wants you, and that doesn't change either. He doesn't say heaven is full and I'm done. So just know that you guys are precious in God's sight. I care about you. I want you to find Jesus. If you don't have Jesus, you definitely need to find Jesus. And if you do, take today and just know that while there's change, it doesn't matter, because our God doesn't change. So guys, thanks for tuning in to the channel. Please like and subscribe as always, and I'll see you guys later.